And here we are. Good night, everybody. It is 8:03 p.m. here in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and in the east coast of the United States. And we have 16 people, and we have people from various parts of the globe here. We have E4 Airman. Hello. Eric C. Why, I think he also catch the Spanish broadcast today. New York Raider fan. Let's go. We have also Michael Mellon, also from Nantucket, John McGinnis. And we have AJ. Oh, I checked my battery before. Hope it should work. At least one of the mics should. Keep it interesting. And we have Tony's Board Life. Great to see you, Tony. And we have from Great Britain, John Halley. And from Australia, which is probably one more day over there. It's already Monday. Pete Rickson from Canberra. Great to see you, Pete. So today we have another bomb run. This particular bomb run is kind of strange because I'm doing two lives today. I just did one at 4 o'clock for Spanish-speaking people, mostly for Spain. And of course, I'm going to showcase the same game. Otherwise, I'll have a rule salad in my head and then the video won't be worth anything. So today's bomb run, we are going to show you in the showcase portion a game by Trafalgar Editions. Trafalgar Editions is a Spanish publisher. They do various kinds of games. They do some games that borrow minis rules. You've probably seen one recently called Panzerkampf. That came out last year. They do also Navíos de Línea, Ships of the Line, which also uses minis. And they do Napoleonic games that use cardboard pieces, but it's minis rules. But this game that you're going to see is not a minis game. It's actually a topic that I haven't seen any American publisher do. I mean, we all like urban warfare. It's Stalingrad, interesting, you know, house by house, block by block. This is urban combat in the Napoleonic era. And the setting here is Madrid on the 2nd of May, 1808. And that is when the Spanish populace, they got fed up of that the royalty, the monarchy, was being called over to France. Napoleon was inviting them to go to France. I wonder why. And they were staying there. So they were fed up and they rose in arms. And it was mostly civilians. A lot of the army units that were stationed outside Madrid didn't participate. But this is a game that recreates that. That's what we will be showing you today. It is the uprising in Madrid against France, against Napoleon. One player takes the Spanish populace, mostly civilian units, and the other player takes control of the French. And the French are mostly outside of the city. They have to move into the city. So that's the game that we will be covering today in our showcase. And we will be giving away today one game, but it's going to be a special giveaway. It's going to be one of those pick one of three games. So let me show you what the keyword is, and I will show you what the games are. The games are Wing Leader Supremacy by GMT, South China Sea by Compass Games, and here is ID Jester's favorite, Race to Moscow by Phalanx Game. So let's put the banner with the ticker, and the giveaway keyword is #pick. #pick, and again, Wing Leader Supremacy. This is the big 3-inch box, and it has aircraft from 1943 to 45. South China Sea. This is modern day combat. It's a game designed by John Bogorkowski. Wing Leader Supremacy is Lee Brimicombe Wood. And Race to Moscow, I forget the name of the designer. I think he's a Polish designer, and I don't want to massacre. I don't want to give it a half shot. And if I had the box right in front of me, I could read it, but I can't. So those are the games that we will be giving away today. We also have Joe Quiñones and Daniel Silverthorne. Also, Dale Brady. And St. Louis Keith, one of our recent winners. And we have here Piaj Evans, nice to see you. And also we have, where is he? Where's the captain? Captain Vonendine. Hope I pronounced that correctly. And so those are people who just joined. So that is, you want to participate, hashtag pick, and then you have time to decide from here to the end of the show which game is right for you, okay? And if by any chance, I mean, you don't like any of the games, or you have all three games and they're in good shape, you know, remember words of wisdom of Jack Rady.
Don't be a schmuck.
Don't be a schmuck. Let somebody else have it, okay? So let's go to the giveaway rules. Participation is limited only to individuals in the United States and Puerto Rico. To participate, write the keyword shown during the live broadcast in the comments section. One winner per prize will be selected randomly during the broadcast. Within 24 hours, the winner must send an email to stukajoe@gmail.com stating the winner's YouTube handle and shipping address. An email with a verification code will be sent to the winner, and the winner must enter the verification code in the comments section of the giveaway video. Upon winner confirmation, the prize will be mailed to the winner's address. Okay, so that is the giveaway. We're only going to give one game today, so pick wisely. And what we will be doing now is I'm going to try something new also. I did a short 13-minute video clip for the Spanish broadcast explaining concepts of the game that we're going to see, which is CIUDAD de Patriotas, Patriots City. And what I'll do is I'll play it, mute it, and I'll be overdubbing it live in English. Let's see how well that goes. And let me know if it works well, if you like that. If it doesn't work well, I'll have to do a translation or do something. Sometimes it's the other way around. I can do a video in English and translate it in the other show in Spanish. But let's see how that happens. So that has its own intro. So let's go over to our showcase game, which is Patriots City, CIUDAD de Patriotas. This is Patriot City, CIUDAD de Patriotas, recreates the uprising on the 2nd of May, 1808. This is a game designed by Crisanto Lorente from Trafalgar Editions. Now, this is a two-player game, low to medium complexity, and it has 6 turns to play, and here you see the components. The 6 turns, you have a turn record track, and that's what the French have to gain control of the city. 6 turns. You have counters representing Spanish civilians. The numbers that you see are strength, the strength of the counters. And here you have the French army. You have infantry regiments, which can be broken down in battalions. You also have single battalions of other units and cavalry, as well as artillery. And some leaders are represented on both sides. Now, the map is divided into 8 districts, and they are color-coded. Like you see there, each district has 8 neighborhoods. Here you see the Cuartel de San Jerónimo, one of the districts. Now, in this game, to win, the French has to control the city, and that's defined by controlling 7 of the 8 districts. So how do you control a district? Well, it's not like your regular hex and counter game that you just move a unit through a hex and you control the hex. No, to control a particular district, first you have to remove all Spanish units, eliminate them from the district. And after you do that, you have to occupy each neighborhood with a unit. Each neighborhood. And then, only then, at the end of the French turn, you place a district control marker. And from then on, Spanish units cannot come into the map in that district. They cannot spawn there. So here you see the turn record track. The Spanish receive reinforcements on turns 1 through 4, and the French every turn. And each turn represents an hour of real time. So let's take a look at the sequence of play. The first phase is events, reinforcements, and let's call them command cards. So let's take a look at the events in this game. There's an events table. There's 10 different events per side. And the events are played semi-randomly. You can choose events from events that you pick from a cup, and events, what they will do is they will increase your side's fury level or decrease your side's fury level or the opponent. And we'll talk about fury level and how that impacts the game. Fury level is the level of commitment that each side has to their particular cause. And here we see the side of the events table of the French. Now, each of those events is represented by a numbered chit, and it is placed in an opaque cup. At the beginning of the game, each player draws 2 and selects 1 at the beginning of the game. But from turn 2 onwards, the player that has the most fury picks 3. And here we see the turn record track in turn number 2, and we see the reinforcements that the Spanish receive. They receive 1 of their 3 leaders, Blas Molina, and they also receive 7 2-strength units. And you'll see that the board starts in turn 1 with 5 1-strength units. Now, the French receive the 2nd division. You see it there, 2D, and there are 4 regiments there. You see the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now, the marker with the number 4 and the 2 soldiers, that is the regiment counter with the strength of 4. But you can break down your regiments into battalions. And why would you like to do that? Or why would you want to do that? Because you have to spread out first to control all those neighborhoods. That's one reason. And the other reason is stacking, which has a maximum of 6 strength points. Now, there's also command cards, and each player receives 3 at the beginning of the game. And these command cards have certain effects on movement and combat. And some of the cards apply to one side, some to both. And some can only be played if that side has the advantage in fury, in the fury level. Here you see a movement card that the Spanish can play that slows down the French, an additional movement point in neighborhoods that have a question mark. And neighborhoods that have a question mark on the map are very many. These are the neighborhoods that historically the French had a lot of trouble and a lot of fighting and a lot of barricading, and you see them there. You see at the beginning of the game, the French start in the top of the map with 3 units, and then there's 5 units of the Spanish that can be placed in those 3 districts with a maximum of 2 per district and 1 per neighborhood. So that is the initial setup. And you see the number of question marks. There are going to be many cards that have different effects on question marks. This one increases the cost by 2. There's another one that you have to stop. We see a light barricade. And here you have the strategic movement cards. This card, if your side has a fury advantage, you can increase the movement ratings of your units by 3 movement points. Here's another one that increases it by 2. And this one is a combat card. There's a series of combat cards for the French. This one increases the die roll modifier by +3. This one decreases. This is a bad recharge. The opposing player's die roll modifier by 2. And you have very assorted types of combat cards. So you have also cards that will give a card. There's one here that gives the control of the district to the French, any district, if they have the fury. So that is the first phase. Now we go to movement and combat. And in this game, the movement ratings are not printed on the counters. You have them there. For artillery, 3. If artillery is horse artillery, 4. Civilians, 4. Infantry, 4. And cavalry and characters, 5. And you see the cost in the bottom. Neighborhoods, 1. But you have that question mark. Sometimes it can be more. And there's also some special boxes from which the French units enter the map. Remember, the French are mostly outside of Madrid. They're coming from outside, and you'll see those in the edges around the city. And those are the large French flags that you see there. We're going to take a look. We're going to focus here on this particular entrance there, the Toledo entrance. And you see there's an arrow and there's a black number 1, meaning that it cost 1 movement point just to place the unit on the flag and then to move in. So the units move and they have to stop upon entering a space that is occupied by an enemy unit, like here. And here we have an attack by the French, and here it's very simple. They have 4, Spanish have 2, so the French have a +2 die roll modifier. Now there's other die roll modifiers that we will see, but let's resolve combat and let's assume that nothing else applies. This will be a +2 die roll modifier. Now we will proceed to resolve combat in the combat results table, and you see that we roll 1 die, and it's a 10-sided die, and you see the results there. 4 for the attacker is 4 loss points, a 6. That is 1 for the defender, 1 loss point for the defender. And the game is kind of like Paths of Glory. It will cause the defending unit to be eliminated or dispersed if the loss factor equals the defender unit. But the defending Spanish unit here is a 2, so the loss factor is not enough. So that result is ignored, that loss factor of 1. But let's say that now the result was a 7. So it's 2 loss factors for the defender. Now the loss factor is equal to the value of the unit. So now the unit is dispersed. And that's different from being eliminated. If it's higher, the unit is eliminated, it doesn't return to the map. But a dispersed unit does return to the map. So you just pick up the unit and place it in the box for the next turn. And Spanish forces, civilians enter in any neighborhood that is not occupied by a French unit or that is not in a French-controlled district, but 1 per neighborhood. Now here we see a different attack, the Spanish attacking the French. And let's say we had that same result, 2 loss points that would disperse this Marine battalion, French Marine battalion. So it goes to the turn record track to enter in the next turn. But French units are a little different. They enter the game in any neighborhood surrounding the one they were dispersed. So it can be that neighborhood that you see there, Niñas de Leganés. It can be Carmen Calzado. It can be Las Baronesas. It can be Buen Suceso, any of those. So I think you have to write somewhere, write down where that unit was dispersed. So that's the combat table. There's another set, there's a host of modifiers, and that's not very complicated. You have modifiers for the event, artillery. If you do a cavalry charge, of course, the modifiers for the event are various. Here we see a +2. That applies only for the French. And you have also, if the area is stacked to the brim by the defender, all 6 combat factors there, the attacker gets a +1. If your attack is being made and there's a neighborhood that is adjacent and has friendly units, you get a +1. And charges get a +2. So that's basically, if cavalry is disorganized and attacking, it's a -1. So there's various modifiers, and you see them there. And also leaders. If you are participating with a leader, your leader acts as a die roll modifier. So those are the modifiers that apply here. But now let's talk about an aspect of the game which I think is very present, and it controls the dynamics in terms of events that can be selected and other things. Let's see if the video advances now to that part. So now we're going to talk about Fury. So Fury is, you keep track of Fury, and this is the box where you do so. And you're always going to subtract French Fury from Spanish Fury. So let's say that the event that applies is this one. The event number 4, Spanish Fury is increased by 2. And 2 civilian units with a factor of 3 enter the game. So we would mark that with a 2 marker. Spanish Fury is 2 in that case. Now, Fury also, Fury points are gained by a side when that side loses troops. So let's say the French had, Spanish attacked, destroyed 3 1 strength units, like the ones you see here. Each point destroyed causes 1 fury point. So now, if that is the situation at the end of the turn, in the revuelta, in the uprising phase, it means that the French have the fury advantage. What that means is that now, in the next turn, they pick from the event cup, they will pick 3 events because their fury level is higher than the Spanish. And see, look what happens here. There's 3 events that the French selects, and not all events are good for you. So what this does is that the player that has the most fury will be able to choose more favorable events, cause damage, and then the other player will probably prevail in the fury. So you're going to have this balancing mechanism throughout the game in terms of the fury. So this is a view of the map, and I think that this is a game that is not very hard to play. It is a game that we expect to see published at the end of the year, and something that is interesting in terms of mechanics and the topic. It's urban warfare in the Napoleonic era. It's something we like in World War II games, but this one is Napoleonic. So, and we have here one of the unconditionals, never misses a show, Bend Over, and welcome. So that we have now the game in front of us right here. So I had a chance to interview Crisanto Lorente. This was a game that I'm finding that people in Spain, they open their game companies when they want to publish a game. Nobody wants to publish the game for them. So they say, I'm going to open my own company and publish the game. The same thing happened with Luis Hernandez and Draco Ideas with the game Onus that I think you probably have heard of. It's a card game where cards represent meanies. It's like meanies rules. And he published the game, and now I think that it's a really nice presentation and very innovative concept. So here we have the components. We have the map with the districts. Here we have a number of places where French forces were stationed and Spanish forces. You have even, in this game, you even have convicts. The Spanish, they emptied the jails, and there's 2 convict units that can be placed at any of the jails. And these are the spots that they may spawn, those units, those spaces there. But it's all due to events. And when we look at the events, there's 20 events per side. So, I'm sorry, 10 events per side, so that's 20. But there's only 6 turns in the game. And you have there, as you pull out events and play them, let's say the Spanish decided to play event number 2, you place it here, and that doesn't return to the cup. So you play an event, and then the other that you don't play return to the cup. So it's a very fluid situation, and the events that are played go here. Now, every time there's combat, because of casualties, the fury level is going to change. So it's going to be like a seesaw thing. And when the French have the worst part of it, their fury is going to increase. They get better events. Then the Spanish get the short end of the stick. So it's a self-balancing mechanism. Now you may say, well, the French have a lot of troops. You can see them here, and they do. But remember, most of them are these infantry regiments, which you can break down to battalions. But the French have to spread out. They're obligated in order to be able to secure these districts. They have to spread out. There's 8 neighborhoods per district. And there's going to be nasty surprises. There can be one turn where the Spanish play the card that makes the French stop in their tracks, like this card here. This card, if the Spanish have the fury, this means that the French can move into one adjacent area with a question mark, but they have to stop. This is the block card. So it's something that it called my attention, this game, when I saw it being played at the Bellota-Con, and I'm happy that Crisanto is finally publishing the game. And it will be available partially in English. The map is going to be in Spanish, but the cards and the rules are in English. You can see the cards. You see it there, block. There's going to be rules in English, and this player aid in the back is in Spanish. And I think the same thing is going to be with the events. So it would be nice if instead of this table, it could be event cards. I think that would work great. So I don't discard maybe giving it a shot and doing some event cards, because that would be good to have. You just pull a chit and then keep the card. So that is City of Patriots, Madrid, 2nd, 1808. And we have here William Aarons. Okay, you'll have an American address if you win. Okay, fair enough. Okay, William. Let's see. Okay. So, hey, if you have people who have American addresses, go ahead. And we have also Harold Demi. Nice to see you. Also, Michael. Nice to see you. Ryan. BMD Loan. Nice to see you also. Jack O'Lantern is here. So, okay. So, we got 32 people. It's good. So this is CIUDAD De Patriotas. And I will be, when the game comes out, I'll probably get myself hands on a published copy, maybe do some playthrough or something. I've seen it played. I haven't played it myself, but I've seen it played at the Bellota, and it looks like a little fun game. Crisanto tells me that he enhanced a little bit the capabilities of the civilians for play ballast, because, I mean, nobody wants to play a massacre, right? So, but at least this is something that makes you learn about conflicts that otherwise you wouldn't. And this is a conflict where there were women throwing pottery from the second, third story buildings to the French. And of course, the French prevailed, and they made markings with the bayonets. They would scratch the doors of the houses of the people who opposed them. And then, of course, they proceeded to execute many, many Spanish civilians, which, of course, pissed off the Spanish more and ignited a guerrilla war from 1808 to 1814. And of course, the British took the opportunity to land in Portugal with an army, and they fought the Spanish there until the French there with the Spanish and the Portuguese, and they managed to expel the French in 1814. And so it was a long war, a brutal war. The Peninsular War, it's known as the Peninsular War, the War of Independence if you're Spanish. It's a very interesting conflict, a ton of battles. There's two companies in Spain that are coming with games about the Peninsular War. I know Quique Esparrago, who is the designer of Congress of Vienna, he's working on one of those games. And that's being play tested. And I know, and Paco Ronco, who is the owner of Bellica Third Generation, he has another one designed by a Danish designer, which I don't remember the game, that covers the whole war. Now, if you have the GMT game Wellington, I think it covers only from 1811 to 1814. But these two games that are coming cover the whole shebang from 1808 to 1814. So I'm looking forward to those. I think both games that are being developed are card-driven games. So that's going to end this section here of the showcase video. And now we move to our next section, which is a blast from the past. And of course, being a blast from the past, I'm not going to tell you what game it is. You know, if you were in the last show, I said, I'm not going to tell you what game it is. And in the background, you could see the box of the game, but I didn't do that mistake here. So let's go to the intro of the Blast from the Past while I set it up on the table. Okay? So here we go, guys. And in a blast from the past, the box won't stand up. Let me see. Oh, barely. Here we go. We have the one and only War at Sea. Not the most realistic naval game, but what a fun game it was when it came out. War at Sea. And something is here. I don't know if the rules tell me who designed this thing. Have the rules. It should, right? Yes, designed by John Edwards. So John Edwards, who's the designer of the Russian campaign, he designed War at Sea. And this is a really beat up copy because we played the hell out of this one. So this is a very simplistic game of sea warfare in World War II. And it's an introductory game. Here we see the rules. This is the Avalon Hill. We see where's the year of this. We can see it somewhere. It's 1976. Okay. So here you have it's a fold out, one color, blue. Very simple game. And here we have the map. We have it set up. And let's see, it's coming out as a reprint by Compass. That's good. Let's see if it will reprint this version and another version that I have to the side of this game. That I only have one component missing, but I'm going to show you what I have. Knowing John Kranz and everybody there at Compass, they may go for it. So let's see. This is the map. It's smaller than a standard map. It's like a portrait representation. You have the ports where you have units placed there. We have here Italy. And you see the Italians have in paper a great fleet, but they cannot navigate outside the Mediterranean with exception of these 117 cruisers. You have the Italian fleet. In Italy, you have this symbol here. White plane means that these ships can be attacked by Allied land-based air. And this is a very simplistic land-based air, different from the one in Victory in the Pacific. Here you just roll 3 dice, and if you roll a 6, it's a hit. A 5, it's disabled. So, we have also here the position of the German units that begin the game in Germany. And you see there, you don't have the whole German fleet, but you have a significant number of them. Let's take a closer look. You have the pocket battleships there. Let's spread them out so that we can see all 3 of them. Let's spread them out there. So here we go. So there, you got the Graf Spee, the Lützow, and the Admiral Scheer. You have the Scharnhorst. I don't know how to pronounce this. Neisno. Yeah, pardon my Puerto Rican German. Blucher, that one I know. You have the Admiral Hipper The Tirpitz doesn't go here. I wish I was playing the Germans. The Tirpitz is supposed to go down here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Bismarck. It has that line here. So it is a reinforcement. There you go. It goes here with the turn 2 reinforcements. Okay. So those are the German ships there. Now let's take a look at the British have a ton of ships. Here we see, for example, they have a lot of 117 cruisers, the renowned. They have these battleships, and the numbers are the firepower, the number of dice that you roll when they attack. This is their defense value, and this is their speed rating, which is important when you want to withdraw from an area. Disengage is the word. Then you can group your ships by speed, and then the attack, the side that is pursuing has to, if it wants to fire again, those ships has to assign ships with equal or higher speed. It's a kind of cool mechanic. You can divide your withdrawing ships into groups depending on speed. Having a coffee here. So here we see the British ships. Now, there's also Russian ships. Start here. And the Russians only have 2. And these ships don't practically function until 1941, which in this game is turn 3. The same happens with the US over here. You see that there's 3 ships. And you have to roll for these, actually. Once the US enters the war, you have to roll for each ship, and each ship enters on a roll of 6. So that is pretty random there. That's a big uncertainty. There's going to be convoys that are going to cross the Atlantic Ocean. You're going to have convoys coming from the North Atlantic, and they have to arrive here at Murmansk. And if they do arrive, it's 3 victory points. And you keep track of victory points here. And if you control a sea area, depending on the value of the sea area, the Allies control it, you add to the Allied side. Oh, this would be to the Axis side. And you add to the Allies going in a leftward direction. So let me do something here. Okay, just a second. Okay, here we go. So the value of the sea areas varies. You see here the South Atlantic is worth 3 victory points for the Axis, 1 for the Allies. You have also the North Sea. Well, it's worth 3 for the Axis, 1 for the Allies. I mean, for the Axis, it's really hard to control a sea area because the fleets are so meager when compared to the Allied fleet. North Atlantic, the same thing, 3 and 1. And here, the Barents Sea. The Barents Sea, you have that red plane there, meaning the Germans can use their land-based counter to attack Allied ships there. So there, the Axis get 2, the Allies get 1. Then the Baltic Sea, which I think only enters play after a certain turn. No, the Baltic Sea is always open, but the Russians can contest it when they enter the game on turn 3. It's 1 point for the Axis, 2 for the Allies. So if the Russians actually control the Baltic Sea, they really help out the cause. Then we have the Mediterranean Sea, Axis 2 and Allies 1. And what you do is, if you sail out ships and they control that area, you place, say the British control the area, you place the marker there. So this is a game that is very simple. For example, if we would have, I don't know, a situation like this here. Let's say these ships are at sea, the Axis are attacking, they can assign either both to attack one, or they can spread out. And then the Axis would roll a number of dice equal to the gunnery rating. So let's say that The Littorio is going to fire at the repulse. Littorio has a gunnery rating of 4, so we would roll 4d6. And 6s are hits, 5s are disabled. So there is a hit, 1 hit. And then the next thing we do, 1 hit, we roll 1 die to see the amount of damage. And the repulse, the middle number, is the amount of damage it can sustain without being sunk. So we roll 1 die, and here it is 4. So that's bad for the repulse. The repulse now doesn't have enough points to sustain that damage. So let me see, where's the finding the button here? Okay, so what happens is the repulse here in this case is sunk. Okay. And now, but oh wait, I forgot. The repulse gets to fire back before it's sunk. And actually, we place, there's a sunk marker. I think there's sunk markers here. These are the markers. I see disabled markers. What I'll do is I'll just place a backside of a marker. But the resolve, the repulse fires 3 dice to the Littorio there. So we roll them. And actually scored a hit and a disabled. Disabled means that no matter what, if it survives, that ship must return to port. But we still have to roll for the 1 hit. Now it's gonna, Littorio's not gonna sink. Ooh, 6. It had a damage factor of 6. So we place this damage marker here. So now we do eliminate the sunken ship, the repulse, and the Littorio actually would return to base at the end of the combat. But we still have the other situation here. We have the Ramillies, I don't know if I pronounced that well, and the Andrea Doria. So the Andrea Doria fires first and rolls 4 dice. And the Andrea Doria has, you know, one thing with this, you see that 1 over there? It's tilted. I can't believe they make a virtual die rolling app and the dice gets tilted. I'm going to score it as a 1. So it's 1 hit with a 6. So now let's see the damage. We roll 1d6 and it is a 5. So no luck for the British here. And that is going to get sunk. But before it rolls 4 dice against the Andrea Doria. Oh, a hit. The Andrea Doria may go down. The Andrea Doria only can hold 3 hits. So we roll for the damage on the Andrea Doria, and it is a 5. So the Andrea Doria is also sunk. So let's now remove both of the sunken ships. That was a bloody battle. So the only ship that survived was the Littorio, and the Littorio has to return limping to Italy. That's a sample of one combat. I mean, you can have a combat much more elaborate than that. There's also subs that attack. The Germans have submarines. And the submarines, I think, attack and first and are subject to anti-submarine warfare, which I really don't remember off the top of my head. But you can see the subs can be placed in any sea area. They don't have a speed rating. Can be placed in any sea area. Ships to move, they can move into an adjacent sea area automatically, or they can attempt to move to a second sea area, but they would have to roll lower than their speed. So let's say that the Italian Navy has never been as active as today. So here we go. Today is they've done more today than the whole World War II. So here we have the Giulio Cesare. And what you do is after you move all your ships that are going to move one area, you announce which ones are going to go 2 areas. So I'm going to go with the Giulio Cesare and also with this one and 2 cruisers. So the cruisers will make it automatically because they have 7, but these 2 have to roll. So now we roll 1d6 for, let's roll for the Conde di Cavour. And it rolled a 4, so yes, the Conde de Cavour made it. Good. And now we roll for the Julius Caesare to see if he makes it. And he doesn't make it. So in that case, what happens is that that particular ship, the Julius Caesare, returns to port. And we place it here. Basically won't participate. And remember, this port can be attacked by land-based air, so really no safe space for the Italians in this game. So basically that's movement. There's a sister game of War at Sea, which is Victory in the Pacific, which you have ships that have a backside. That is the raiding side. That is the third area. They can roll to move into the third area, or they can be on their colored side and roll for that second area. The advantage of the colored side in Victory in the Pacific is that you have to be on your colored side in order to score victory points. It's a different mechanic. I mean, Victory in the Pacific is really, it's a marvel of what it does with what it is. It's a very, even today, it's still an interesting game to play. You have amphibious invasions and everything, but this is the older brother of Victory in the Pacific. So, and Rob, he likes Victory in the Pacific. Me too. I'll do a one. I'm intending to do more of the recorded videos, like the one I did for the live streams, and so I can put more information. I just didn't have time for this one, but for Victory in the Pacific, it deserves like a recorded video, even on the blast from the past. So what I wanted to show you is something that, let's see if Compass will come up with this one, because this is something that I did purchase during the day, and that is, and I'm showing you there is the folder. This is War at Sea 2. You have, this is really old. It included an unmounted 22 by 24 inch map sheet. That's the only thing I don't have, because I had a phase where I like to mount my own maps, and of course my skills weren't very good, so the map would turn yellow easily and I had to dispose it. But everything else we have. So this is War at Sea, and this got the postage stamp here. Oh, it's just Baltimore. Oh, 1983. So you have there the rules, and it's basically the same format, and it brought order battle charts. The Allies have 2. This is the second one for the Allies. There's a ton of units here. I don't know if it's balanced, because you will see they didn't beef up the Axis side very much. They beefed up the Allied side. And here's the one for the Germans. And here are the counters for, oops, there goes a keyboard. Okay, so we get, here you have British and Americans. So you have the Arkansas, you have land-based air. This is more like Victory in the Pacific, that you have a number of land-based air units. 2, 4, and the asterisk. Then you have some aircraft carriers here, more cruisers. There is a Greek ship there. The Kilkis is a Greek ship. Then you have some carriers over here, an American carrier, the Ranger, and you have more Russian ships. So, I mean, not very impressive, pretty slow, but I mean, cannon fodder. Then you have Bomber Command, and you have some more land-based air units. And then, what is really surprising is the French are here. The French fleet is enormous. I never knew that they had so many ships. Now, why they made them shocking pink, I don't know. Maybe it's an 80s thing. This color is ghastly, but here you have Paris. And you have some pretty good ones here. This one looks pretty good. I thought this was the North Carolina when I saw it. It is the Richelieu. So this is like the best that the French have. Richelieu, they have even an aircraft carrier here. the Bern. I don't know if they actually had an aircraft carrier. In this game, the Germans have, in the base game, they get the Graf Zeppelin. And here you see it. Of course, that was never launched. So you got an aircraft carrier for the Germans. I mean, just for play balance. And then now here we have the Germans and the Italians. And you see they didn't add much. And what they actually did was they included counters for the Bismarck and the Tirpitz, which are actually weaker than the ones that the base game has. Here we see the one for the base game. It's a 496. Now it's a 476. It makes it easier to sink. And then we have some, these I think were the Commerce Raiders, the Orion and stuff like that. Atlantis. These are zeros. I guess they would have rules similar to the, more or less like the convoys or something, that if they make it across the sea or something, you get some points. I'm not sure. And then we have the Italians, which basically add 2 aircraft carriers. See there, the Claire's have it. And then you have most important or interesting part of the Italians I see here is the glare is bad. I think it has to do with that black. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's also Avalon Hill used to put that glossy material on counters. So you have there the Italian frogmen. You have 4 units of frogmen there. You have some cruisers, and you have also some aircraft there. So that is War at Sea 2. The map, I don't have it, but I remember it was nothing to write home about. I think it was like a 2 or 3 colored map, but it was not a map. It was not a 2 or 3 colored map by Redmond Simonson. So with that, I tell you everything. You would do wonders with 2, 3 colored maps. So that is War at Sea 2. And here we see Mark would love to see a challenge die roll to nullify hits. Battles would continue until one or others. Well, yeah, I guess that could be implemented. I mean, make for a very long game, but this so that's a possibility. Yeah, it has a lot of game balancing for the Allied side. Maybe they thought the Germans were winning too much. I know, I discovered today reading the rules that this is the kind of thing that you learn later when you're doing things like this, or when you go to a convention and you've been playing a game for 20 years and you suddenly learn that you were playing it wrong. German surface ships, like for example, this one, if they are not damaged, they would get a +1 to each of the dice rolled. Like that bonus in Victory in the Pacific, when it has that white circle, German ships that are undamaged would get a +1 surface ships. I never played with that rule, and no wonder the Germans would never win. But that reflects the more, I don't know, developed gunnery of the German ships, I suppose. So that is War at Sea and War at Sea 2. And taking advantage of a coffee here. And we got 32 people. And let's see how many people are participating in that giveaway. Let me share the screen here. See if I can find the giveaway first. Okay. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, let me just move that to the other screen here. And I should be able to locate it here somewhere. Okay, let me see. Window, there it is. So it's #pick, and we have 25 entries. And that is for We have Wing Leader Supremacy by GMT, South China Sea by Compass, and we have Race to Moscow by Phalanx. Now, it's also a caveat. If you went to the bathroom and you win it, and you're not here in the show to tell me which one it is, I'm going to wait for 2 minutes. So you have to respond here today, whoever the winner is, and tell me which one it is, and I'll ship it to you tomorrow. Okay? And just, John Halley, you can't win unless you have a U.S. address. And I will only ship to U.S. addresses. So that's basically it. Maybe when the war's over, shipping will go down and I can do something for my European subscribers. But it's really prohibitive. It costs like, a medium-sized box costs like $50, $60 to ship it to over there. It's crazy. It's crazy. So let's see. We have, I think, 25 contestants. So let's do the draw for the pick one. So here it is. Let's go, guys, and good luck. And the winner of the pick one game of the night is AJ. AJ, you won. Is this the first time you won, AJ? I think you won before. I'm not sure. So AJ is our winner. Congratulations, AJ. And so now AJ has to choose which one of the games he will select. And let me see if I can place the PowerPoint back on track here. So let's, okay, so let's take a look at the options here. These are the choices: Wing Leader Supremacy, South China Sea, and it's the other one, that Phalanx game, Moscow. What is it? Look at it. Race to Moscow. Okay, AJ. So which one is it? Okay, AJ is here. He didn't leave. So AJ, you got to pick one, AJ. So let's see. And AJ goes with Wing Leader Supremacy. So AJ, congratulations. And Wing Leader Supremacy will be on your way. And since you won the game, I will raise it here. And let's show the game over here. We have it. That's the game that is going AJ's way. So AJ, write to me at stukajoe@gmail.com with your mailing address. And then the drill is, I will send you an email with a confirmation code. Write it in the comments of this video after the show's over. And then that makes certain that I send it to the right AJ and not some other AJ. I have to do it that way because I want to make sure it gets to the right person. So you have everybody congratulating AJ. Good pick. And St. Louis Keith, that would have been his choice. I think that would have been my choice too. So here we are. That's if I would, yeah, probably have made the same choice. So congratulations, AJ. And we've been at it for 1 hour and 2 minutes. And I think that's going to be it for now. But not next week. I'm doing these, if you're noticing, I'm doing them sitting down. I was doing every one of these standing up. It's incredible how tired you would get standing up. So I'm doing them sitting down. It's a lot better. And what I'll do is next week, we don't have a live bomb run. I want to do some edited videos. We're going to have the other week. We're going to have our next bomb run is actually going to be, let me see if this thing will work now. Here it is. Let me get that out of the way. There's the tool here. Let's see if I can find it. It's still there somehow. Oh, let me get it. Just a second. There you go. So our next bomb run will be on Sunday the 25th at 8 p.m. I think that's the best time for you guys, right? I think that was a consensus. We'll do it now. The game for the next bomb run is going to be this one. This is called Assault on Madrid. There was a game published by Battles Magazine a few years ago, and this is the same game. This Spanish publisher, Headquarter Games, revamped it with nicer art and graphic. This is the assault to take Madrid in 1936 when Franco wanted to take it rapidly and end the war, and it failed. They attacked through the part of Madrid which is known as the Ciudad Universitaria, college city would be a translation. And the Republicans managed to stop them. That's where the No Pasarán slogan was very popular. And the Franco couldn't get Madrid until 1939. So this is the first assault on Madrid, a direct assault. And you're going to have nationalist troops. You're going to have African troops on the nationalist side. You're going to have communist, anarchist, regular Republican units, and they probably won't fight well together like always. That's the problem they always had. So this is a game that in my Spanish live stream, I will have hopefully Miguel Santa Cruz, who's the publisher, to talk about the game. But what I'll do, let me know if you liked what I did today, which is I do a video of the salient parts of the game. And that video is going to be in Spanish, but I translate it here in English. I think it work well if I know what I'm doing, if I record it and remember what to say. So let me know if you like that. It's a lot better than doing a whole another translated video. But that's what I intend to do when it's a Spanish game. When it's a game in English, it's the other way around. I will do it in English and then probably explain it in Spanish over there. So that's our next live bomb run. And I want to thank each and everyone for joining in. We have Mark here. You knew somebody who served in the Abraham Lincoln Brigade. Wow, that is something. This is a game that this is a conflict that is super interesting. If you are interested in this conflict, they're going to come up, NAC Publishing, with a game that is like Twilight Struggle. It uses Twilight Struggle mechanics to talk about the Spanish Second Republic, the republic that was founded in 1931 and died in the Spanish Civil War in 1939. So it covers 1931 to 1939 with the Spanish Civil War using Twilight Struggle mechanics. And there's another game by Miguel Candelas, who's a Spanish designer, which is the Spanish Civil War, but its impact worldwide. You have a world map. And you have all the countries helping the Republic. Mexico sent a ton of rifles over there. And you have the efforts of the Republic to try to garnish economic favor with other nations. And you have the Soviet Union. And you have this world map, but you're also resolving the Spanish Civil War. Something really interesting, which I've never seen before. So, of course, I'll be covering all those. And hopefully I talk to the designers and they send me, like they sent me here, a prototype copy. So I hope you enjoyed the broadcast today, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining in. And as I always say, this is Stuka Joe signing off for now. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.